Good evening, you and Spacey Wolf Squadron. This is your Commander Wolf back again with another anime spotlight. And tonight we are talking about a not necessarily highly talked about anime, but infamously known throughout many anime circles, and especially mech enthusiasts, and silently talked about at times. Yes, folks, we're talking about God damn, that intro is a fucking lie. Sorry, Monticelli. Yes, that's right, everybody. We're talking about Blue Gender. We're going to explain in a little bit why I said that, but definitely, it's quite the anime that a lot of people might have seen, a few times. Thought it was a few dream. Thought I was there, and it just didn't exist. It was on Adult Swim for a while. Hell, it was on Toonami before it became Adult Swim. Um, I incorrectly called the style digital. What I meant to say on the off day stream was this is when they were beginning to dive into cell shading in animation during the times of anime, especially in the early to mid and also late 2000s, where they started experimenting more cell shaded art. So if you seen an art shift between 80s and 90s up until 2000s, that's why is that they shifted to cell. They I wouldn't say they stopped hand drawing yet, but they went for a more cell shaded style, if I recall. Right, Dark?
Mm.
I just think
You'll be correct.
that was dumb, everybody. But yeah, before I get into the introductions of everybody, um, Blue Gender, it's quite that anime that you would not expect to see out of certain things, especially during the times of kiddie anime were dominating the Western networks. And then of course you get things like this. Now we can get into introduction, starting with the Sixth Ranger, Dark Stranger.
Good evening and good morning. Thank you for having me for this discussion of this oldie but goldie.
The humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello, I'm Humble Marty and I write things.
What's that snicker for?
Just remembering last night. Don't worry, folks. It's the real one this time.
Oh God, that's right. Oh, we got to talk about that in the green room after hours. We'll tell you in a bit, Humble. We also have the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Good evening, morning, or afternoon, everyone. This is the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell, and welcome to tonight's episode of Animation Spotlight, where, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we're talking about an oldie but goodie in the form of Blue Gender.
Negro, speak up. I can barely hear
Pardon
you.
his mic, it's having technical difficulties.
And I'm having fun at the expense. But yeah, definitely an oldie goodie. Now, unfortunately, we do not have the Lady of Valor. I do believe that this will be the only time, and going forward, we will not be having her for these type of streams anymore. Maybe if we could tempt her to a Studio Ghibli stream, maybe we'll see. But she opted out, so chances are we might not be getting her in the anime spotlights anymore, or maybe it'll be that rare time. But here's hoping. Cross your fingers, everybody. So, Blue Gender is about a young fellow named Yuji Kaido that has been put under due to him having an quote unquote incurable disease. So they put him on ice for about 22 years, where he has been awakened to hell on Earth, a desolate world that's been overrun and populated by insectoid monsters known as the Blue. No other
Cordon
name,
blue?
just the Blue. What'd you say, Dark?
I said cordon bleu.
No, just Blue.
Uh, so no chicken, no ham, no cheese. Damn.
So surrounding him is just nothing but a world of death, murder, and destruction. And his only hope for survival is through this lady right here named Marlene Angel.
Marceline Angel.
Marlene Angel.
Oh. Okay.
That's her name, Marlene Angel. Who just so happens to be very stoic, very militant, and very cold and distant. And throughout the whole story, it's them going, well, not just the whole story, it's just part of the story, which is what we're going to get into. And as you see in the description, we're going through the first 10 episodes of the series. We'll be going on to the next episodes in the next week. So right now, the first half of this series, which is the first 10 episodes, is them trying to survive while trying to rendezvous with Marlene's cohorts, because she's a soldier. So they're trying to get him to a place called Second Earth, which we'll get into in a bit. We'll start with first impressions, starting with our newcomer into this series, Humble Marty. Is this your first time watching Blue Gender, correct?
Yeah, first time watching it in its entirety for at least 10 episodes.
All right. And the first 10 episodes so far, first impressions.
No wonder it was too violent for Tanami.
Oh yes, very well known and very infamous for that, and more. We're gonna get in the next week. We're gonna get into why it was so infamous as well, more so than the gore. And believe me, during these 10 episodes, there is a lot of gore. But give us more of your impressions. Any more you want to say?
I like that it had small little character building moments where Yuji actually got character development.
Actually, you mean he had none in the beginning?
Well, normally with some of these characters for example, he's got a lot in common with Zenitsu, except Zenitsu didn't get a lot of character development until like second half of the series where they're like nearing the end.
And who are we talking about per se? And what
Zenitsu was from
series?
Demon Slayer.
Gotcha. I know what you're talking about, but that's what the people
And
know.
his main thing was basically he's basically Shaggy in personality, but with more screaming.
Jinkies.
And you're
Yuji was your basically your princess character. He starts out as the damsel in distress, and then over time learns to be a bit more self-sufficient.
And since he's a gas mini mart worker, that makes him kind of like Shaun from the Dead.
Yeah, it kind of does.
I mean, he did wake up into hell too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I think his reactions are pretty realistic. I mean, you go to sleep for what would have been a 20-year nap, and then wake up to this giant bulbous shaped face that would have come from the movie Alien, trying to come down on top of your head. Yeah, I'd scream too.
Dom, this is not really first impressions because you and I, along with Dark here, have already seen this series before. But upon rewatch, how'd you take it? Or very yet? No. Hang on, I did this wrong. Sorry, I did this wrong. No, give us your first impressions when you first watched it. Excuse me about that. Sorry about that. In our case, we're supposed to explain how we came upon it and explain our experiences. Go ahead, Don.
Oh, what can I say? Hey, well, I first discovered it through Tanami, and my reaction upon watching the first episode was, well, good thing through episode one. Well, it established that it's not like Evangelion, and also we have a better main character.
Oh wow! So you had Shinji since Jump.
Yeah, you
Nah.
could say that because with Shinji, well, he started out like as a reluctant hero, but also as a classic anti-hero. No, however, like, as the series I went on, like he didn't he didn't have the character development that he should have, as well as developing a backbone.
Okay.
At least Yuji, on the other hand, and he woke up in hell after being asleep for 22 years, but he knows like when to stand up and actually like maintain his hope and optimism in spite of the hellish environment.
I will also have to say he even makes a mention that he doesn't have a really good relationship with his father too. Yeah, he got in the robot.
Of
Well,
his own
willingly.
free will.
Well, also,
Now,
with Marlene, she gave me and she gave me like soldier vibes. The 1998 movie with Kurt Russell, because
oh yeah,
she was pretty much started out originally as just a machine until like, over time, like she was regaining humanity, much like Kurt Russell's character in Soldier.
Albeit a bit different.
Exactly.
But that's... No, wait, that comes up during when they're crossing Himalaya, so it's not ahead of the past episode 10.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Dark. When you first watched it.
Well, I didn't find this first through Toonami. I actually found it before Toonami aired it on their late night to midnight run. I watched the series when they first started on their midnight run, since they couldn't really show it on the afternoon one after school. But I became aware of it through like the VHH tapes of like Dragon Ball or Ghost in the Shell I had, that they had those trailers for
Nice.
previews, and you had that one theme that plays in it. Da, 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 and then the bug slang and the whole trailer, and like, yeah, I'm hooked. I want to see this. And eventually, they aired it on the Midnight Run. I'm like, I'm engrossed. I love this. Good. And yeah, when I first saw it, it was great. I mean, that first episode, okay, he's waking up, the trauma, the horror of it, the action, the meatballs. Yeah, it was great. I like the characters. You didn't need to go over some episodes just to really get things. You got it right away. Shit went down, bad things happened, the world's different, and that's just how it is. Like, didn't need 10 or 12 episodes just to get that hammered through.
Mhm.
Which is something most of today's like creators, and I use that term loosely, should actually take notes on.
Hmm. But yeah, the characters are good. They're not all well developed. Some of their names are just forgotten, or if they were even given names. But for what you're given, and by extension, the main one, who's pretty much like them, Marlene Angel, they're you understand why they are the way they are. It's necessary for the environment that you're into with the story. Yuji, man out of time and all that, he's pretty good. His responses are pretty natural for what's going on. So he never felt like out of place. Sometimes later on, it was a bit annoying when he just kept on preaching about how unfair so on is without just understanding. He understands what's going on in that, but then he kind of flip flops like that's not fair and blah 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 when he sees
Mhm.
some human tragedy going on. But he is a lot better than, as Dom put it, Shinji, because he's got a spine, he steps up. It doesn't even take him that long to want to step up. He asks to be trained how to use a gun, trained to use the mech to help fight and pull slack instead of just being there. And he just continues that. He stumbles a bit here and there, but he progresses pretty well, and he doesn't cry and masturbate either, like Shinji.
He's got a back full of boob too.
Yeah.
For me, I was introduced to it through a college friend of mine who I don't know, on a whim he told me about it. He lit me the Warrior first. He lit me the Warrior first, and I watched the Warrior through there. And at his home, well, after I returned the Warrior to him because he was a big collector of anime.
Hmm.
I returned it to him, and he literally showed me what they really do to you after they kill you. Because the Warrior censors that part. Yes, it
Truly
does.
one of the few things they did cut up, but yet, yeah.
I mean, what's funny is the way how they treats well, we're not going to get into the difference between the Warrior and the show proper, but briefly mention that even the way how the two how the scene plays out is different in the Warrior. But when I saw what they did to you, I was shaking during that scene. I was like, what?
And this is also like post Starship Troopers, so instead
Mm-hmm.
of just stab and tear apart, what they do to you is more gruesome. Like, ugh.
And we later find out as we going to go through the series the purpose as to why they do it that way. But yeah, the characters, as you said, don't get much spotlight to. Some of the characters don't get enough spotlight to really stand out to be. Well, they're still memorable, but they're memorable in a different way. Let's just be kind there, you know. Like Joey, the character Joey, he stands out because, well, out of all their teammates, he's he's kind of like the next one to last a little bit longer than them. Um, Keith gets his moments, like as I said in the update stream. He gets his moments until he bites the dust. But like the two other ladies, like they don't get no name. Well, I think they give a name briefly, but
I
damn,
don't
they don't
remember. I
even
just
they.
remember how they die. Backbreaker and windshield.
I thought she snapped her neck.
And there was one got neck snapped, one went through a windshield, and one girl that Yuji remembered vividly, he recognized her face in the middle of what would look like a circular owl pellet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe she did break her neck. I just
Yikes.
remember her like getting rocked back and her back just
Yeah,
hitting one of the beams in the truck.
yeah, and that's what
Ah,
that's when her neck like impact impacted and snapped.
Hmm.
well, that's how I say it, because usually the blood just come out of the mouth, and I just assume like head
Well,
injury usually involves that.
I think if you go up far enough up to the back of the skull, there's actually part there that if you survive, you're paralyzed from the neck down. If you don't, you're basically a snapped neck, your neck snapped, and bye bye.
You're Gwen
But
Stacy.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going though. I was a little terrified to even watch anymore after that whole ordeal because the very first 3 episodes, I was like, "What is going on here?" Because at times it felt like they were just throwing all kind of shock imagery in front of you all at once in the first episode, second episode, going forward. It's like just
Uh,
they were
yeah.
you're left always questioning what is going on, why are they behaving like this,
Hmm.
so that
Well,
was usually my reaction sometimes, like what the hell, and he just my friend in the background just explained it to me briefly, not all the way, he just explained it to me briefly,
hmm.
though he doesn't go into great detail until when I decided to borrow the DVD set from him to finally see now that there's a purpose behind every action that characters are doing in that brief first episode, you know. And over time, as I continue the series, I gotta say, for its faults and flaws, which we're gonna get into later on, post these 10 episodes, I still like it. I still revisit it every once in a while. I just of course, we are revisiting it today. I've been watching it from beginning to end for the past since yesterday today. You know,
Hmm.
and one thing we haven't touched on yet is the mechs, the armored strikes, as they're called.
Cool name.
Yes, and well thought out design too. Very mechanical and I would say kind of practical in their creation, kind of sorta. There's a bit of a I wouldn't is the term is used too much, but realism. There's a lot of weight to them, if nothing else. Like these mechs weigh heavily, and
Hmm.
it shows in the animation, especially when they board the transports, when they we lost Dom. We when they step out, when they get impacted, charged by a blue. There's always the camera shake, of course, but like it really showcases that there's some weight to these mechs. The way how the guns sound when they fire, my goodness, I love the way how the guns sound. Doom 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 doom, or do 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 do. You know,
Hmm.
it's got it's got it's got a real good punch to the gunplay. Back when guns were just oh, you threw them
Mm-hmm.
in there and I kicked them out. But no, the guns have a lot of kick to them. Even the human guns, the submachine guns and any other guns that they have weight to them too. Now the animation is really good for its time, though there are some still shots and some moments where it's like, when every time they do one of those still images, it always make like the guns are firing more bullets than they should, realistically speaking. Which every time I saw those scenes, I kept chuckling. You know, it's
Mhm.
like old anime were like this. I can't really critique that because I'm used to stuff like this. You know, but there's two types, in fact, the armor strikes. There's the gunner type, and there's the close quarters type. And obviously, the most iconic one is what you saw so far in the intro that I showed you guys. For those who are watching, and they also come in variants. There's ones that have missile launchers. You get to see some of those later on in the next episodes too. Yeah, you get to see all types, and we get to see more upgraded versions when we cross over to the next 10 episodes. Um, they are equipped with a scanner, which is meant to scan the weak point of the blue because you can't really put them down completely through body limb and bloodletting. You have to aim for what is called the core, and that core is their known weak spot. So once sometimes you'll have sometimes they'll have somebody who's doing the scanning, especially the close quarters one is built to be a two-seater. So one of them pilots the mech movement and the other one pilots the arms. And to that to that to that front, the person who drives the mech usually is the one that scans for the core. You know, where am I going with this? What was
One's a
my
donkey, the other's a Kong. The donkey drives, the Kong beats.
right? But on top of that, that's basically their main line of offense against the blue. Like normally, technically, you can still fight a blue, as you are without the armor strike, but you're really gonna put a lot of work into it because these things will tear you apart easily. I mean, you have people that go to pieces like they're paper in this anime. Granted, these things are massive, and they're very good at chiropractic and
Mm-hmm.
contortioning. Can't get over. I can never get over the, the human roly polies,
The meatballs.
the Brussels sprouts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, it's in a
Dumplings.
bag.
it's not so much the fact that they do that stuff to you; it's what you look like afterwards. What you and another person, because it's not just you that gets rolled up into a ball. It's you and along with another person, which they salivate some kind of substance on you. I don't know if it's acid or not because it did steam up and sizzle a bit, but it seems to be
Might
more
be
of a
some sealant that like a cocoon, but it kind of preserves you while also like decomposing into a more mushy thing to eat.
It could be something akin to how bees make their own beeswax. They take whatever they chew and then they spit it back out like a sticky chewed cud, and just roll them up into a ball, kind of like a dung beetle.
Mm.
I was more thinking of an adhesive that keeps you preserved. and stuck together, holding you together until the stuff tends to I don't know, form around you, I guess,
We
organically.
never see them eat, so it's kind of ambiguous. But I mean, assume that they just eat the what they meatball.
You know, eat you later. I
Yeah.
did see one eat some rubble and then just jet off.
Mm.
I mean, they kind of ground up concrete and the like. Though the landscape really shows that they built hives, and my goodness, the imagery of buildings being covered in their hives is just haunting at best, and that's literally the final shot of the first episode, which is when you see the world unfolding after you're basically being put in Yuji's perspective throughout
Mm.
this first episode. And his reaction is very again, dare I say it, realistic. You know, first sight
Mhm.
of Marlene when she has her helmet down and she tries to, reach out to grab him, not even say anything to him, not even try to calm him down, just reach out to him, expect him to get picked up. You know, he just darts away from her, which is, like, yeah, I would do the same thing too. Bitch got a skull helmet, and she's trying to reach out to me in a big mech. I run too.
Those are some cool helmets. I wish more people use those.
Yeah, I like the helmet design. Don't you?
Same here.
Ooh.
Whoa, dude! I think you need to
Is
invest in a
your
better
mic
mic.
or is your mic okay or
Sounds like he's communicating with his world.
Sound like Megabyte took over.
ET phone home?
Good evening, my friends. This is Megabyte, and I'm in control of this system. What about you, Humble? Did you like the helmet design?
Yeah. I mean, it allowed for some vision. It looked cool and happened to be downright traumatizing. Yay!
So, for the most part, throughout these first 10 episodes, it's basically just their group, Marlene's unit. Their mission is basically to transport him to the rendezvous point to get him aboard Second Earth, which is a space station that's out in space. And throughout the episodes, he's beginning to learn more about the people of Second Earth. The more they travel, especially with the way how people on Earth that has been later find out left behind react to them, how they
Ooh.
behave around them. Like everybody, it's been 22 years, so everybody has have a very low opinion about them
Hmm.
so far. I mean, at one point they meet up with a hidden settlement where people are hiding from the blue, which unfortunately, as Marlene and company predicted, that eventually the blue are going to come in and get them, which sadly they do. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen this.
Ooh.
A little more detail on that one for sure, but heck, you even they even attempt to find any other medical facilities that are holding people like usually called sleepers, and reaching to those spots too late as well. Especially the latest one that they go to, which the blood is still fresh there.
Mm.
You know, once they appear, especially after Yuji learns to fight like them. You know, he begins to get stressed out over that fact. It's like, he's trying. Yuji is kind of developing a slight hero complex during his arc. He's trying.
Slight.
Yeah, slight. It gets more bold the more the more we get to the get closer to the rendezvous point. But for a while, like he has a hero complex, right? He's trying to be the hero of every story, and it's one of those situations where they're literally telling him not to be one because it's jeopardizing their mission, especially while
Mhm.
he's getting very annoyed about his antics. Though Joey learn becomes more receptive to the idea of him learning to defend himself. And the reason why, as Dark said, but I'll put it in my own words, the reason why Yuji wants to step up and take the learn to fight is because he doesn't want to be a liability.
Mhm.
If anything, he wasn't. The mission was to get him while he's still asleep, still in his capsule. But he was already awakened within the capsule, and he also during the skirmish, he was released accidentally. So the mission was to get him while he's asleep and wake him up when they reach Second Earth. So at this point, while he's still awake, while he's awake, he's pretty much useless for the first two, three, 2 or 3 episodes, for lack of a better term.
Only the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes, he's completely useless until he doesn't.
For the
Come
for
on,
the
Doc,
first
think
2
on Mike.
episodes, he was the talking cargo box.
Just
Let me help,
basically,
let me help, let me help, and she's like, "No, stay."
or like he's trying, he's basically just there to be the audience surrogate for the exposition dump, which is what they drip feed into as he interacts with them more. Um, Anybody want to add to that?
Are we there yet? It's pretty much him.
He's between are we there yet or I don't want to live in this world. Why did you kind of why did you wake me up? Why did you even ask my permission to be here? Kind of, you get a little bit of that. It does, if people don't like characters talking like that, it does get grating. So I wouldn't blame you if you stop the story right there because of that.
This
It
Oh,
does
go on.
get funny because of all the times Marlene tells him, "Shut up and get in the car."
Mhm. But this is also the start of some of the things that happen and don't get really explained or just dropped. I won't get into the rest, but specifically they question like, how did he wake up? Why did he wake up when he was still in containment? And you're like wondering like, oh well, what's happening here? Why is he the only one who's doing that? That never gets really addressed.
It does get in the first episode because one of the blue was trying to eat him.
Mm.
Just pop open those cryogenic chambers like Kit Kat bars. Just roll them
Give
into a
me a
Ziploc
break.
baggie for
Give
later.
me a break. Give me a break of that Kit Kat bar.
Now, sound design is amazing in this anime too. The Japanese love to make the bones sound like crackers crunching or sticks cracking.
Well, to be fair, they're normally far off.
You might want to leave and come back, dude. Replug your mic.
Oh,
Whoa, dude. Whoa.
It's trying to breathe.
Oh my god. I just muted and unmuted.
oh.
Whoa, Dom, you are not having a good day, sir.
Ow.
Oh my god.
That's my ears. Ah.
You might have to sit this one out, Dom. Just type in what you're going to say in the private chat, like you always do when you're faced with this stuff. And get a better mic. Mario says I can read chat. But no, where was it? Sound design. My goodness. Oh, and they also love to make them sound like make the bones sound like somebody took a bite of an apple too. That's my favorite sound.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get no shortage of that in this anime when people bites the dust against the glue. But definitely if you're not a gore person, this anime is definitely not for you. Humble, that's not you.
No, it's not. Unless this thing's too close to my nose.
But yeah. Uh Not sure what else can I say. Other than over time, as Marlene's unit begins to deteriorate in bodies, it's just them for the rest of the way in the later half of the first hand. And over time, Yuji's uh Yuji's way of thinking and his way of interacting with Marlene kind of melts down her barriers that she's been putting up, and it's mostly to do with her just being a soldier, as Dark has said. She's basically Todd from Soldier. And of course, in the later particular, I believe it's the seventh or eighth episode where she tells him her backstory. I think, or further, probably further than that.
I think you get like flashbacks and stuff. Pretty much, she was born on Earth and she was evacuated after something happened, some mass destruction. Some soldier saved her from like rubble and fire, and she was taken to second Earth and then conditioned into
Mm-hmm.
being a soldier, like run through simulations and all that as a kid until she was just the cold-hearted killer she was.
Even learning the rituals that they practice on Second Earth.
Sex.
More on that when we get into the next episodes, because
Eh,
they only give you a well, actually no
they
actually
started off with two where Communication Girl and Keith, he just starts groping and unzipping her while she's chatting to base, and they just start doing it, and it was also kind of weird because she's got like this stone cold look while he's doing it, and then when she's done, she puts off the heads and they just do it. But she never really seems like she's super into it. They
mhm,
just do it, and of course on the ship, Joey and Marlene do it themselves. But she kind of when Yuji kind of gets on her about it or asks her about it, she kind of downplays it like she doesn't love him or anything. It's just something they do.
to feel alive, or just in case if they you know they just in case if they don't have a tomorrow. Each and
Hmm.
every one of them don't have a tomorrow, so either a kiss or a grabbing of the boob or a grabbing of the ass or maybe sex. Just to feel like you're human, you feel like you're alive. Just to feel something. Plus they're basically murder machines, so
Hmm.
it's not even, I wouldn't even call it. Uh, it skirts the line of what's consensual and what's non-consensual. It also
Essentially,
circles.
the normal concepts of moral boundaries and what's conceptual in that is deteriorated down due to the near extinction and never-ending war.
Mhm. again, it gets a bit more of a well, a lack of exploration in the later half of the series, which again, I keep saying that repeatedly. I know, but trust me on this. When we get to next week, we'll try to go a bit more in depth.
Yep, going real deep throated.
You funny, but yeah, she doesn't have lovers. She doesn't have life partners whatsoever. It's just as you as one would call it, a sort of one night stand, or maybe two nights if you're lucky, or maybe three. Bottom line is they get that release, and I guess they can function the next day. You know, but yeah, that would be something that it's something that they throw out there, and again, you're left to question like, what the hell is going on? You know.
Mm.
Then again, it's safe to say that to question and criticize Second Earth's action, but even people on Earth have their own faults too. Like later on when Yuji gets separated from the group and uh, is found by this nomadic traveling group, and they're assailed by how would you call them, marauders, bandits
Bandits.
that just so happen to be maybe pop they're probably military deserters
I think it's really implied they are deserters because they have a shrike.
and weapons,
Yeah.
and they're
Mm-hmm.
dressed like the military too.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely they're definitely deserters. And speaking of deserters, they actually meet one along the way named Dice.
Best character.
I was about to say that, aka the best character, and I was crying when he left.
Hmm.
I was like, "Don't go! You make them better. Don't go!" But he's with them for a while up until when they have to deal with a certain blue variant. Now let's get more into the blue real fast before we talk more about him. The blue come in all shapes and forms, and my God, do they come in
Giggity.
so many designs. And later on, we get a brand new variant that sort of, well, not sort of, it they say it's evolution, but me being a sticker for how to correctly describe evolution, it's not really evolution. It's more of adaptation. So far in the first few episodes, the blue had exposed cores, and they're easy to pick off once you spot them and aim directly for them. Then later on, when they find the hidden settlement, they go into a blue hive to establish communications to let them know that they're still alive. That's what Morning says, not me. Though Yuji thought that they were calling for help incorrectly, of course, because he's still in. He's always in the dark until they tell him something. They're I will give Second Earth this. They're sometimes forthcoming with the question, with the answers to the questions. But I digress. We later find out that there's a brand new blue that's hatching within the nest. That's actually have a casing that covers up the core, which is going to prove difficult to penetrate with with any weapon except for maybe a strike's weapon. Um, you let you later encounter that blue when they attack the settlement, It's like a big rhinoceros beetle without the big horn. You got the flying ones, of course, as well, that are kind of like your traditional wasp like flying killer things. And then there's the one that's more praying mantis like, crab like, that has this big giant gaping mouth, which sadly we don't see much. Well, actually, no, we do. Sorry, I'm correcting myself right now. They kind of they don't get much screen time. Let's just say that.
But it's also
And
kind of arachnid too, because it does make webs.
yeah, Dom says it was episode 8 where she tells Yuji her backstory, and that's still a downplay on Marlene's part. Consent and morality decline after 22 years. Yes, yes, definitely. Um, and then there's the snake, as I like to call it, the sand snake, which ceases to look like an insect and more of a just I don't know. Like they're very creative with the designs, but there are some designs that I have to question on. Like, okay, is it a worm or is it a snake? Because it curls up like a snake and less so like a worm.
The worms also kind of curl up, sort of like centipedes,
Hmm.
millipedes.
Yeah, but this one travels underground, and it spouts sand out like a whale too.
Hmm.
It's a cool
Well,
design. I don't mind it. It's just it's the and another thing, it's the only of its kind. What are you gonna say, Humble?
I was thinking it might have been an evolutionary offshoot, kind of like how the frill shark's an evolutionary offshoot of the lambiforms.
mhm.
Yeah, sometimes these designs look like they just threw them out there just for the sake of those episodes where they're traveling through the desert or just arid lands in particular. Now
And they,
they they
and
do
they
use.
did say that
Oh,
the blue rapidly evolve, which means they basically have the reproduction cycle of a mayfly, which is eat, sleep, sex, or die.
of course, we don't really see them mating or having mating rituals for that matter.
No, we just see them having new generations of different adaptations.
Yeah, but for the most part, you as you're going through the series, you're just going to see the particular grunt variants up until the soldier variants and the unique variants that crop up in the later half of the series, which I call the tank variants. They all come in variants. You hardly ever, as a matter of fact, you hardly ever see the aerial variants that much, aside from again when they're traveling towards the rendezvous point, and that's all you see of them. Um, what am I trying? What else I'm trying to say next? Dice. Let's get into Dice. Like his character, don't like his voice actor.
It could have been better, but it's
It's
doable.
like it's like you hear Nappa when drunk. He does a good drunk voice though. I will give the actor that. No shade to him. I'm pretty sure well. That's if he did pursue voice acting. I'm sure if he did, he probably improved. But like, man, he was. If you watch this dub, I'm pretty sure everybody else is gonna sound terrible, but him was kind of like the standout. Him and also the deserter leader.
Hmm.
He had some moments, especially when Yuji attacks him in his own strike. And he's like, "What are you doing, kid? What are you doing? Hey, don't touch that! Hey!" Hey, stop! Hey, stop! Stop! Don't murder.
I found that amusing.
Every time he talks, like, stop! Don't murder. Help police murder. Did you ever think that sometimes, humble?
Yeah.
Help police murder. Space is warped and time is bendable. But no, like I'm a both a sub and dub person, so it can go either way. I I watch the dub just for the hilarity, and sometimes just to hear the really good to decent voice acting. A lot of people who like subs more, they only reason why they tend to argue sub over dub is because it's culture and they like to be pretentious about it. Oh, because the dub voice actor didn't really illuminate on the cultural significance and meaning and sound.
It takes a whole team to do a dub.
Yeah, but
And
usually I tend to blame voice directing.
yeah.
The worst time when dub happens, and then you notice this when it comes to the sub, is, uh, for example, like Black Lagoon, when you got these different people of different cultures with their own language, like talking to each other, like when the Russians and that go to Japan and they don't speak Japanese. So here you have the actors try to speak English when talking to English people, and then you have the Russians speaking in broken Japanese while also speaking in broken Russian or English. But when it comes to the dub, it's just all English,
Hmm.
smooth. No, there's no translation issue, no broken language.
I find one of the things I found kind of weird was when they wanted to character assassinate someone for the sake of a dub, which for some, I guess that worked, but Dragon Maid, when they decided to say male gaze, when really her showing off was like a part of her character, that was like, yeah, that's actually a bit cringe.
Hmm. It did tear on this anime did tear on the sort of Gundam Wing like school of dubbing, where everybody just have a strict straight up deep voice, deep grunty gravelly voice. No, I love Marlene's voice actor. I love the way how she delivered her lines. It really kind of contrasts her demeanor. Like she's this ice cold alpha bitch, but she speaks in this soft tone.
Of course, it's Android 18.
Mhm.
And has something to add. The adaptation of the blue makes them one of the most dangerous species in fiction. Dice remains one of the best supporting characters in Blue Gender. I find his character abusing as well Marty. The fault lies in the voice directors of the animation studios. Regardless, it's a Western or Eastern. Nowadays, the
Nowadays,
studios are
they're
being
being
careful with
careful
who
with who
they
they
vet.
vet and choose to voice their characters. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Your OCD is excused.
And Dom's got a good point. After some of the drama that happened within the 2010s, I guess a lot of people were like, well, either you get better or we will use AI.
Hmm.
And the other one's like, screw it, we'll unionize.
But Dice being a deserter um, leaves a quick impression because Marlene is all business, whereas he's just taking care of his strike. And he doesn't really pay her no mind, most because he has an agenda, which is to take out the blue that took out his partner or lover. We don't know. We don't know if it's a man or a woman. We just know that he holds on to some dog tags that somebody once wore, and once the thing was dead, finally, he had laid the dog tags to rest on a makeshift cross-like gravestone on a hill. He was like the cool uncle to them, especially to
Mm-hmm.
Yuji. And I love his dialogue, man. Uh, I'm surprised. He was like, I'm surprised you and her that haven't gotten it on because their first encounter. He makes that mention because their first encounter is him finding them at a pool of water, despite that they just so happen to find at this warehouse where they go to bathe themselves and cool themselves down and drink water. So he had assumed after saving their butts from the snake, I call it the snake, blue. He thought they had already got it on, and they had to quickly he had to quickly correct them. That was pretty neat. Even when he even when Yuji popped his cherry with that one chick, what was her name again?
Uh, I don't remember her name.
Amelia, I think her name was Amelia. I think it was Amelia.
I'll just call her Sandy Crotch.
I'll just call her Melon because she reminds me of a certain farm girl. But he popped his cherry with the nomad chick, and you know it was at that point where Yuji he wanted to just leave the leave Marlene behind and join up with this nomad group and be at peace and not be surrounded by violence anymore, despite the fact that he's learned how to pick up a weapon, and he pretty much fought off the Zers who were trying to rob from the nomad tribe. Who I can't, bro. I hate the dad, the chief of their group, where he basically gets bullied by the deserters who then just doesn't really care don't really care about their food or their lifestyle. Just straight up just straight up shoots up their livestock, their sheep, takes their food and discard it like it's trash, and burns some of their tents. And he's mad at Yuji for confronting. I bro, those type of people I cannot fucking stand whatsoever fucking ever. I cannot stand hard edged pacifists that do absolutely the kind of pacifists that are just the one that just really just don't take any actions, do nothing to prevent the violence, but get mad at somebody who actually takes who basically is assertive enough to take action.
In other words, Amuro's mother. Oof.
Oh God. Oh God.
Ugh.
Or say another certain character that was all about you should you should Vash get Vash gets a pass because he actually do something.
That chief reminds me of a Karen.
Yeah, I can't stand people like that where your idea is to let them do things to you, do horrible things to you because you don't want to pick up a gun and hurt somebody. Well, I'm sorry. Look, I'm a person that are like bias BS bias too, and at times I don't want to cause harm to somebody, but you know what? If somebody's gonna take my my daughter or my niece I don't have a daughter, but if somebody try to take my niece, and try to use her as a sex slave, fuck that. I'm getting the biggest fucking stick. I'm gonna bludgeon that motherfucker. You know,
Mm.
I'm of the type. I'm of the type of violence if there's no other option. If I ran out of options at that point, safer options. Oh, carry a big fucking stick. You know, speak softly, but carry a big stick. I'm Uncle Iroh at that point. Now, Uncle Iroh is an example of he can be pacifistic in his approaches sometimes, but he carries the big stick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one will say that might be a contradiction or hypocrisy or defeats the principle of pacifism. But I'm sorry, it's just realism. It's like you not Amelia. Amelia. He says, agreed. Her name is Amelia Wolf. Dice is an easygoing guy, but knows when to be serious. Her dad is doing what not to do and being a leader, as well as giving actual pacifists a bad name. Pacifists are capable of defending themselves and others by using necessary force. Yep. Either that or they find better ways around the violence and only use violence when there's no other option, like Mr. Miyagi, for example. And Mr. Miyagi only uses attack for defense only. And for those who don't know, Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. He also, and by that same token, don't actively go and seek a fight. So if you want a strong example of a pacifist that actually takes action, Mr. Miyagi. He also uses violence to defend, but I'm just using him for a prime example. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So that dad, dude, I don't know if he was an actual pacifist, but like, he, his stance on the abhorrence of violence, I'm like, dude, you fuck right off. He just saved your daughter. Fuck right off. It's like that missionary dude from John Rambo or Rambo 4.
Yeah. Oh, you saved our lives, and I'm thankful for that. But I'm still gonna report you. Like, fuck you.
As I
Hate
said,
that
I just
guy.
can't stand people like that where they just criticize the person for the actions. They go, I like the ones that say, not what I would have had in mind, but I'm thankful that you did what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would prefer to use less violence than necessary, but you know what? I got the results that I needed. But yeah, that I was like, I wish your ass would have died, and she took your fucking leadership position. So I hate them just as much as I hate them fucking deserters. Which is funny because they were setting those guys up to go and attack them again, but the blue had other plans. So that was a very satisfying death for them. Though haunting, I might I may say, very haunting. You hear the gunshots until you hear no more. Suddenly they're silenced. It's like, ooh, scary. But there's nothing much else to say beyond that other than, you know, to really go more in depth of Yuji's hero complex. He fails one time, but then he also succeeds in another, which is another detail that I like about the series. It's like it's critiquing him, but also rewarding him in his decisions.
It rewards him for the things he can do,
Mm-hmm.
while punishing him for the things he thinks he can do or that he complains about.
Yep.
Which sucks because when in that human colony, we later discover that the result of uh, basically why they don't like people from Second Earth, because they abandon them and don't really afford them any help. And again, when we get into the next episodes, I know I keep saying that, we understand why they can't do that. It's for short answer. It's for practical and at times pragmatic reasons.
Or Elysium again, like, yeah, they have the tech, but if everybody has it, you know, it we're going into another topic, but that one movie was screwy. They kind of, but pretty much, if everybody has it, it's a problem because
Yeah,
I don't know. Everybody has to have it. It's fair. Mm.
they're just mad because the rich and powerful just so happens to have it.
Hmm.
It's a jealousy
Yeah,
thing.
the rich and powerful are having to basically supply a bunch of people, so they can't really afford to give it to absolutely everyone.
Of course, speaking on that front, we do learn that Second Earth, those who are on board Second Earth are the selected kind. They, it, it's not it's not a situation where they just gather people up and just launch them into space and then turn them into military. No, they were hand. They seem to be
The
I
right
Picked.
genes, the right type for peak perfection performance.
I was gonna say lottery, but that would not be the best description actually.
Eugenics.
Yeah,
Best
pretty
of the
much.
best.
And in Marlene's case, I think somebody just picked her up because they saw something in her or grew fond of her. You know, because I don't think anybody would have picked her up at all. But I think she got snuck aboard, and through some manipulation through the data files, kept her on there. What do you think? What do you guys think?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
Possible.
it's a working theory.
But it's one of those things you kind of wouldn't mind some more details like who was it that saved her? Who kind of took care of her? Did anybody take care of her?
That is a good question. Because she was just a child when she went through basic training.
Hmm.
She was almost like, what, 12, 13 years old when she started. We don't really know how old she technically is when she meets Yuji.
Hmm.
Could be in her mid 20s though.
Probably around his age. Well, his at time physical age, not his actual age.
Hmm. Yeah, we're not really gonna go into the whole cryostasis uh halts your growth. But yeah, that. Oh, no. Sorry, got distracted by something. So we end off on the I guess the 10th episode where they, you know, Yuji has decided to stick. You know, he was going to leave with the nomads, but then he returned to Marlene and Dice and ended up saving their behinds from the snake blue again. Yeah, it took him like what, 3 episodes to take that thing down.
Hmm.
He was That thing was built different. Not kidding.
Hmm.
its core is encased in armor, to say the least. It's one of the variants that where the core is encased in armor, and you have to chip off the armor in order to get at the core. Which again they eventually did, and through Yuji with his smarts in luring the thing into a wall to crash in, because it's a very fast thing in the sand. So to get it to sit still, it's gonna be a tall order. But he managed to outsmart the thing by having it crash into a his armored strike that he stole from the deserter leader, and they were able to take it out with its exposed core.
Mm-hmm.
But he made his decision. I mean, he probably left behind a legacy through Amelia.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Deadbeat dad. No, excuse me. But yeah, so after his return and rejoining of the group, they part with Dice, and they manage to get to their rendezvous point. Unfortunately, it's guarded by a malfunctioning security
AI.
system.
Yeah.
So they have to go in and recalibrate the system to target only the blue. Since it's been on for so long, the system's having a hard time distinguishing friend from foe. And with another group, they rate the facility, which is a spaceport that houses their spaceship that's going to take them to Second Earth. And with the help with a hacker that seems to be overly infatuated with this one sleeper woman named Han, do they get in, recalibrate the system? Um, a close call too, to be exact, because Marlene's out there on the front lines with the unit, and they're getting swarmed by the blue, and thanks to the yep it took Don, it took 3 episodes to take down the snake blue. Yep, no easy feat on that thing. But at this point right now, when they're raiding while they're raiding the facility to get and finally gotten the system calibrated properly. At this point already, Marlene is has slowly Yuji has slowly chipped away at Marlene's shell. We see a scene where she hums this tune that Yuji hummed along with Joy. Him and Joy shared a tune they hummed together. So when he's humming that tune, she overhears it, and when she was away from him for a while after he had got separated from them by a blue attack, she started humming it. Even every now and again when Yuji talks to her, especially saving her when she almost fell off a cliff, they exchange dialogue with each other, and she starts to feel things, and even Dice catches on to it. Y'all feel me?
Hmm.
So at this point, like Yuji is determined to keep Marlene alive, but Marlene is also still determined to die if necessary, if it means her mission is going to succeed, which is get Yuji up onto Second Earth. But Yuji has other plans, which we can't get into that until next Tuesday because it ends on that asshole Hans commandeering the ship and preparing it to launch and leave them behind, but him taking his quote unquote Angel up to space, and that's where the episodes so far end right there, and that's kind of like the tail end of the stream. So, thoughts on that episode in particular, and thoughts on Second Earth for now before we go in depth next week on how they behave in the station. Starting with Marty.
Well, they definitely the plot definitely escalated.
Dart.
On this specific episode of
Yeah.
Things Happen, I like where, as you said, he got through her shell. We're seeing him, how Yuji's getting through her shell and piercing her core. uh, Dice, of course, shows that he's the best character. He's the deprogrammed soldier who's also kind of the Chad to Yuji, while giving it straight that the soldier gig isn't purely what it's cracked up to be to Marlene.
He's the
And
Kaji
hmm
of Blue Gender,
yeah,
and he's the Kaji
uh,
that lived.
and the one that wasn't a spy or an asshole.
Or a double agent, or a
Yeah,
triple agent.
yeah, he was something.
Mhm.
Uh, and yeah, even in the future with trained soldiers who can get pussy anywhere, there's still going to be those weirdos obsessed with something they can't have.
Yeah, he was, bro. He no matter how many times I rewatched the episode, this whole series in general, he always creeped me out.
Mm,
That dead eye stare, for example, and the way how he talks about that girl, like, bro, she's still asleep. She's unaware of your existence at this point. I'm like, just imagine.
Alert!
Just I'm just saying, imagine it, if you will. Supposedly, if she did wake up, you know, oh my God, just imagine what he tried to do with her.
Ugh. Why won't you love me? Don't you recognize me? I protect you. Well, this will help you. The Oscar grab. Yeah.
But it does leads evidence to the what you said about the soldier gig. At this point, certain soldiers are getting a bit disillusioned with Second Earth's military mindset. So
Mm.
there's some creepiness to his words, but there's also some words that he says that also make you question Second Earth and kind of agree with him. Kinda. She's nothing but an experiment to you. You know. I love his voice actor though. He sounds familiar.
He does the creepy just right.
He's like, that's all you see of her. She's just a sample. She deserves to have a piece. I'll take her and I'll wait. Shit, I'm spoiling the next episode. Jesus. Oh boy, he's a creep. He's a creeper, but man, is he memorable. Come next episode, he's very memorable. Memorable. And Don says Han is the one character you look forward to seeing him get his comeuppance. As for episode 10, excuse me. The plot has escalated as it's advancing to more twists and reveals. Yuji continues to grow in his unbreakable will, and heroism is breaking through Marlene's shell. He said when it's talking about the blue. Now I did say sound design, but of sound design, I didn't speak on yet before we start wrapping it up is the music.
Mm.
And my God, who's let me go ahead and look on good old reliable Wikipedia on who's the composer and see what his track record is. He or she. Y'all can help me out if y'all want to. Y'all computers are probably more faster than mine, so your phones are probably faster than mine. Now, I didn't bring this up earlier in the stream, but I might as well do it right now. It's the showrunner creator is Ryosuke Takahashi, excuse me, who is also the creator of Armored Trooper Votounds and Gasaraki. We will cover those anime sometime in the future, especially Gasaraki.
The composer is Kuniaka Kabashima.
You said it so cute, like. uh, Male or female? They don't have an article. Nope.
I'm looking on IMDb.
Okay. Bing this. Let's Bing this. Oh. Hang on. Let's see. I think I found it. So he's known for his music in several anime and tokusatsu shows, as well as video games, films, and dorama. His compositions for the Fuji TV series Tales of the Unusual. His most famous work, though, he also composed the soundtrack for Metroid Other M for the Wii. Probably the only good thing about that game. So he composed for Spriggan. Okay. That explains the music in Spriggan. Oh my God. If you guys haven't seen Spriggan, you should check it out, especially the
I've seen the original. I haven't seen the Netflix one.
I've seen the Netflix one. It's nothing. It's not comparable to the original '98 version, but it's serviceable. It's not as 3D. It's 3D animated, but it's not as stiff 3D animation as the early anime products so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fluid to some degree. It pretty much goes beat for beat like the original one. It's just, if you don't like the 3D, you don't like the 3D. You're not gonna like it. Period. I'm not gonna force you to watch it. It's got a lot of twists and turns though. Though I do prefer 98's version of how he dealt with Birdman, Fat Man, and Birdman. Wait. Fat Man and Little Boy.
Mm-hmm.
See? I remember. Oh, he composed music for Alien 9? We talked about that years ago. And Monster. He was the composer for Monster. Macross Zero and Requiem from the Darkness. You might have to check that one out. Oh, you're laughing. You might have. So you've seen it.
I've seen Requiem from the Darkness, yeah.
Ooh, Tokyo Babylon live action. It's listed on the live action. I'm not sure if it's live action though. He did some Ultraman. He did an Ultraman game. Lodos War, the game. Forbidden Siren 2, the game. Of course, Metroid Other M. But, one thing I like about that composer, especially if it is his, since it's his music, he's got this very metallic composition to his music. and oftentimes it's very stringy,
Hmm.
kind of like a combination of string of like wire strings grinding against metal at times, along
Oh.
with a bit of. It feels very biopunk ish.
Hmm.
One would say cyberpunk, but no, I kind of feel like this is if Ishii would do another radio bonsai to entertain the idea of biopunk, because I know he's kind of he has a sore spot with the other punks that's outside of cyberpunk. But if he had to entertain it, this is what it was. He would probably will cite this composition as a good source and a frame of reference of what biopunk would sound like. And let's get into it. With his being the composer of this series, the sound design and the music really illustrates the horror.
Yeah, I can dig it.
To a bit of haunting and dreary and weariness. To hauntingly peaceful yet dour. To metallic, or in this case, more creepy.
Music boxy.
Mm-hmm. Very ghostly and kind of it's like the dead is trying to speak to you. This is more metallic. Give it time. You'll get you'll get what I'm saying. I mean, every single time those tracks would play, I would whew,
They
goosebumps
were on
already.
point.
Say again.
They were on point.
Yeah, especially in a lot of scenes. Later on, we're going to get into we're going to get more into the in depth into the music later on as well, because there's some other tracks that they play that can be a bit tone shifting, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
That tends to teeter on to a bit of a patriotic heroism type of deal, to even more horror themed type of deal. And then there's the a specific scene that has this specific song that has a title that says it on the tin. Which last time, last time. We'll get into it when we get into the next 10 episodes next week. But that's going to be it for Blue Gender. If you guys want to come back to us and talk about it more in the next week, there is an 8-hour supercut version of it available on YouTube. And as Don said in the green room, we do have we do we do have a list version of it as well. And also, you can listen to the track on YouTube as well, the soundtrack, and get some more of that
Delicious tones.
yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely go check out the series if you want to. Give it the I guess the 3 episode try if you want. Don't go in there expecting Naruto or anything shonen related. This is definitely a signing type of deal. This is for specifically a 20s to adult spiel.
It was too violent for Toonami.
Hmm. Which is why they pulled it. Um, Unfortunately, you're probably gonna have to watch it dubbed. I doubt you'll find an upload that has it subbed. So best thing to do is probably find a rare copy somewhere online and hopefully get lucky.
It's on Internet Archive.
Subbed.
Maybe.
I just know I'm talking
It
like
out yet.
I know I sound like Judge Harris when I talk. So you have entered her home unannounced. No, I'm kidding. I'm slow talking tonight. It's getting late. But yeah, definitely if you want to, if you're a fan of the mecha genre, like us, most of us probably, definitely give it a watch. Tune in next week when we cover the next episodes. Probably the whole series if I decide. But definitely check it out. So that being said, like everybody for being here, those one of you and those nice motherfuckers that keep popping in and out. Thank you, William, for joining us and sticking around long enough to hear us ramble and give us comments, being the only voice in the comments. I don't know where everybody else is at, but uh, hopefully we'll try again next week. Upcoming projects, we are definitely going to be covering martial arts and the real millennials. And this Friday is another animation spotlight. Yes, everybody, we're having 4 streams in 1 week. And the fourth stream is our coverage of K-pop Demon Hunt. We're going to be talking about K-pop Demon Hunt.
For translation, because his mics went out, everybody said K-pop Demon Hunters from the Netflix.
Oh, did my mic cut
You
out?
know, the one where demons sing, I'm your little soda pop.
Yep. You kind of went like down to where you sound like you were muffling.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, we're covering a growing popular Netflix original movie made by made by Sony Animation. So yeah, tune in for that one. And I don't know what we're doing next week for the Real Millennials, but yeah, in the next future projects, we're covering manga studies, and our subject for that study is Kaiju number 8.
Yay!
So, the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell. Thank you everybody for joining us on the Animation Spotlight. Anime Spotlight, Dom. For part 1 of Blue Gender. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for this coming Thursday's episode of The Real Millennials, where we will discuss some work fiction dealing with martial arts and our favorite martial artists. Until then, this is the Hound of South, Dominic Powell, signing off. Remember to keep up the good fight and maintain hope, optimism, and idealism alive, and cynicism and whatever.
Nihilism are
Citizens-
for losers.
Citizens.
The humblest of writers, humble Marty.
Hello, this is Humble Marty. Thank you for coming to our stream today and catch you on the replay. I hope everyone has a lovely day.
Indeed.
The Sixth Ranger, Dark Stranger.
Thank you for having me. Fun topic, and looking forward to next week.
Shua Commander Wolf Tan remind you guys that once again, you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet.